Just a brief introduction of myself. I'm Andy Ayers. I am a 5th grade teacher at Orchard Park Elementary School that teaches math. 22 years in Kettering, taught at Van Buren for a while, some math and science, spent some time at the board office as a tech member, and then went back to the classroom and have been at Orchard Park in Greenmont the last few years. So welcome, I'm glad everybody's here. Just to kind of give you an idea of what I'd like to do today is, I just want to share with you how I make some videos and use those to share with my students as well as building members, staff members at Orchard Park, because I'm a department chair, as well as parents. So I'm going to go through 3 different methods that you can use to create videos, and then I'm going to talk to you about the means that I use to share them through my Google website. So I'm in a different room, so sometimes things work out perfectly. Sometimes when you're in a different room, the sound and things are a little bit off, so we'll get through that. But I wanted to start with just kind of some finished products of videos I've made and the purpose behind why I've made them, and kind of give you an idea of the big picture, and then I'll show you how I get to kind of these finished products. So this is my web page. I just made an extra page on it, or a tab, for Kett-Tech 2020 with some sample videos. So I will use Smart Notebook, okay, so the smartboard software that goes along with our projectors. I will use my Ladybug, and I also use Screencastify. So 3 different means of taking video. So what I've done here is just kind of put an example or 2 of each of them. So for instance, a couple examples of how I use Smart Notebook to share videos with students and teachers. So here's a Smart Notebook where I'm just teaching a concept and sharing it with kids. So just an example, just so that you can kind of see big picture. I'm just using the smartboard, and as I'm starting and writing on the board, it records my voice, it records everything I do, anything I write. So sometimes I'll use these for sub plans. If I know I have a sub that isn't comfortable with math, sometimes I send it home as a video for parents to help kids. Sometimes kids that are absent, I'll use things like that. So just using basic Smart Notebook, you're able to just record what you're teaching in the class. So anytime you use your Smart Notebook, you can just hit record and it does everything you do, okay? So that's one example of how I use it. Another one that I use a lot really at the beginning of the year to get the kids going on making videos and going to my website to get their parents there is I'll record kids when they're at the board doing math and explaining math. Oh, that was the wrong one. Where is that one? Kids explaining their math. I guess that was it. Oh, there it is. And then they want to go home and tell their parents that they're on there, and they show their parents, and then their parents see my website. So it's a way of me at the beginning of the year opening communication with, hey, I know you know how to do this math problem. Hey, let's do it. Then I say, hey, I'm going to put that on my website, and I'll have it there after school. So after school, I put it on there, and then I'm getting parents and kids to my website, and then they start to see the games and the activities and the communication that's there. So I'll do that, and then, this is another one where I actually do this on Fridays a lot in 5th grade, because in 5th grade at Orchard Park, we run the Firebird store. So everybody earns Firebird bucks, and then the kids in 5th grade go work the store. So I have kids on Friday that are in and out of the room. So a lot of times I'll record my lessons just as I'm teaching the kids. So as the kids are in the room, I'm talking to them, they're responding to me, but the kids that aren't in the room, when they get back, they can go to my website and they can watch it there. And you notice the sound's a little bit different in here so it kind of depends on your setup in your room as well. So that's using Smart Notebook, and I'm going to walk you through what that looks like. Some other things I do, and this says using Smart Notebook and my Ladybug together. This was a project I did a couple years ago. I had a friend whose daughter was in the hospital for an extended period of time, and she was a 2nd grader, so we did a project with 5th grade and 2nd grade where the 2nd graders picked their favorite books and read them to my kids, and then my kids read them under the Ladybug, and we recorded them, and I sent her a big web page so that she could just click and hear stories all day long. But it's just kids sitting in front of the ladybug, talking to Bella at the time, because she was actually in isolation, couldn't even be with her family and stuff. All she had was an iPad. So the kids just reading and using the ladybug as a means of sharing what they're doing. Another one here, ladybug document camera, me just teaching a review. So a lot of times I'll just use a worksheet or a paper that we're working on. I think this is actually a review for a test. And
hello, boys and girls.
see, the sound's a little different on each means.
Module 2, topic A.
But it's just me going, hey, we have a test coming up. This is a way of reviewing. Did you do your review in class? And maybe if you didn't get it done, you take it home. I can check my answers with Mr. Ayers or before we take the test. Just another way for the kids to study and have somebody to work with.
7 of these I have.
And then this is the one I probably use most often, is just kind of just taking a lesson and in Eureka, because teaching 5th grade math, parents are not comfortable with what they call new math and the way it's explained. So a lot of times I'll create videos of difficult problem solving type things. Sometimes if I leave it for a sub, or if I just put it on my website so parents can go and have a resource. But it's basically the same thing as the other ones, where, hey, it's just a way of sharing information that we're doing. And then the last one is Screencastify. So I use Smart Notebook, I use the Ladybug, and then Screencastify is web-based, and I'll walk you through all of these. But Screencastify I use most when I want to show people how to do something on a computer. So I'm a department chair at Orchard Park, so a lot of times when there are tech issues, I'll make a quick little video and email it out to all the staff. And basically the difference with Screencastify is it's usually not a picture from my Ladybug or from the smartboard. It's me just talking through, like this time it was Google Calendar and how to basically reserve a room within Orchard Park so we're not all fighting over the conference room and things like that. So those are kind of my end products that I'm trying to share with you, okay? So what I thought I would do is just take a moment and start with, the means that I use most often, which is my Ladybug. And then I'll do an example of how I create the video with Smart Notebook, and then I'll do one with Screencastify just as a quick sample. And then I'll have those 3 documents, and I'll show you how I get them onto my website, okay? So before I go on, any questions just about what my goal is or anything that you've seen? All right, so creating videos. You have to do some testing and exploring first. Every room is different. Every atmosphere is different. Like today I'm hooked up with HDMI. Sometimes there's a lot of different cables you can use to go to video. You got to kind of test in your room which one works best. Today when I was testing, it was very echoey based on the room compared to where I am in my classroom and the setting. So you do want to play around with the settings, do some sample videos, listen to them, see which one works best for your classroom. My old classroom where I did this a lot at Greenmont, Smart Notebook was the best. Now that I'm in my new room at Orchard Park, my document camera seems to be better because I have a different type of interactive board in my classroom. So depending on your settings, you're going to want to play with what your classroom produces the best. So I will start with my Ladybug. And document cameras, there's different types out there. I happen to have a Ladybug 3.0, which is just a little bit different software. So I don't know what everybody has in their class, or if you don't have one, that would be a question maybe for your tech people at your building about how you could get one. I kind of live and die by mine, probably use it 70% of my day. Something's under there, whether it's the kids sharing their information or me writing something under there, but something is usually always up there. But built in to your Ladybug software is the ability to take video. You can take pictures as well, but is the ability to take video. So as soon as you click over here on the right, and it might be different settings depending on what version you're running, but I can record video, and all I have to do is hit the red button, and it will begin recording anything I say or anything I do under the Ladybug. So it's pretty simple if you're used to using a Ladybug. It's just one more click before you start writing and talking to the kids. So it's, I extend my screen, it starts to tell me here that it's counting down and here's my time, and then I just start doing some type of math instruction, whether it's, hey, 2 + 2 = 4. And I try to limit things to be under 5 minutes or so. Like the kids, I don't want them on the computer for 20 minutes watching a video. Usually I try to limit it because for the attention of the kids, because I teach 5th graders, and you got to remember the longer your video, the longer sometimes it takes to process, both on the machine and when I put it on my website. So if it's a really, really long video, when I post it to my website and somebody goes to load that page, it takes a longer time. So you do want to be careful with how long your videos are and the means that you're using to share it so that you're not taking up a lot of time to load things back like we did when I was in college when we were still using dial-up. You don't want it to be that slow. So I've recorded my video already. So how do I access my video? Different in every software, but in my software, I come up to this play, and here it is. And then I usually just play it and watch it, see if I like the sound, see if I like what I did. And this is what I'm talking about, playing around with the sound to see what the volume is. Usually it's pretty good with, it keeps up the words and the numbers match depending on what versions you're running and if you're running HDMI or if you're using other cables. But basically I just watch it just to make sure I like it. And then I usually go to my library and I have the video right here. And this is my video. And then from there, when I right click, I can open the file location. I am a desktop person. I'm never going to go find it anywhere unless it's on my desktop. So I always just drag it onto my desktop. And then there you go, I have my video. Okay, and then I'll show you later on what I do with that to share it and different ways to share it. But really the Ladybug is, for me, the simplest way of just saying, hey, I want the kids to see this or I want the parents to see this, and I just grab something that we're working on, quick 2-3 minute video, and I have it sitting right there, and then when I have time, I put it onto my website, or I email it to the kids, or I share it in some means. So that is Ladybug software videos. Any questions? Pretty simple. I mean, how many of you have a Ladybug or a document camera? Okay, all right. So
Ladybug is the red thing?
I'm sorry, this is, Ladybug is a brand of document camera. So I call it the Ladybug because it's Ladybug brand, but it's a document camera. Good question, good question.
How do you have it hooked into your laptop right now?
So right now I have a power cord that's powering it up, and then there are different, and that's the thing, like when you get your Ladybug, and that's when I say you want to play around with things and explore, you have multiple means of cables. And I am not an expert on all of them and their names, but yeah, I mean, I have one, two, like, these are the ones that, like, when you do the search, it's like RGB, whatever, I don't know, but like, you can connect this to your computer. This is just USB right now. That's connected into my computer. This is an HDMI, so some of them, like mine's HDMI, I could do HDMI into here, or I could go directly to the smart board. So that's why I say, like, depending on the setup in your classroom, but like mine right now is just powered, and then this is a USB, which is the same as like your mouse.
So, I know this is not your area of
No, that's why we're here.
So, at my one school, KMS hooked up through HDMI and laptop.
Yeah.
But at my other school, I don't have any of these wires. Don't know where they
Okay.
are, don't know what happened to them, and there's no HDMI cable coming out of the projector.
Okay.
So, should I just issue track?
Yes, you should, because somebody has extras, and there are times where it depends. Like this is an interactive whiteboard versus a smart board. Some of the old smart boards, there's a cable behind there that you can pull out and create a port to do HDMIs. So I don't want you to go back and just tear everything apart, but go back and talk to your tech people and say, hey, I'm interested in doing whatever it is, and I'd like to get a document camera. How could I connect it in? And that's exactly what they're there to help you with. Okay. Yeah. And that's the thing. There's a lot of options depending on your format in your room and how you like to do things. Yes?
Real quick, might be a dumb question. Does that flex up as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it have to
You could, yes. So like, I'm not an expert at like some of that type of stuff, but I have a friend who, they do butterflies. So the kids, you know, as things are going through the stages and over the weekend, she sets it up under here, and it's a camera, and it's a time-lapse camera that like every hour she can set it up to take a picture so that when they come back over the weekend, if for some reason one of them comes out. So and that's kind of like Ladybug is like the high class like Cadillac of a document camera. And there are thousands of features that I haven't even used. Like, yeah, and it would just be more, yeah. But no, I love it. I live and die by it. I never really had one until maybe 5 years ago. And I was like, oh, how did I teach before that? Yeah, they're kind of cool. They're kind of cool. So that's taking a video with a document camera, okay? Second option for taking a video, sorry here, is just your smart notebook. Oh, hey, look at that. I just do a new page. So everybody has access to this, I believe, okay, because it's the software that comes with the interactive boards and the old smart boards, depending on what version you have. But Smart Notebook is interactive for the kids. This is where I'll put like math lessons, and the kids will have problems, and they'll come up and write on the board and different things like that. So it's very simple as well. One of the menu options that you have is a video camera. So a lot of people use the camera piece for doing like screen captures, if you're familiar with that. But the option right here of the video camera, the smart recorder, does basically the same thing that the Ladybug does. You hit that, bam, you have an option. When you are ready or the kids are ready, basically you just hit record. It starts timing it. Kids come up and do problems, or if you have problems on there, you kind of explain things. And as you write, you know, it's going to record anything you do and anything the kids do, and it's the same exact option. You hit stop, and suddenly there you are with this file, February 22nd, 9:19 in the morning, and I always just go to my desktop, and I save it to my desktop. And yes, depending on the length, might take a little bit of time, and again, I'm going to close that. It's on my desktop right here. So the first one in the top right-hand corner was my Ladybug. This one is just recording on Smart Notebook. So really, you're doing nothing different. You're just teaching the way you usually teach. It's just before you teach, hey, hit play or hit record. And then at the end of it, if you like it, you use it in some means to share with kids or adults or whatever your purpose is. So any questions? I see that's like,
Can you edit, like, after, or is it like one-stop shopping?
I haven't gotten into that. I kind of look at it, and like if I start talking and I'm 2 minutes in and I'm like, all right, I'll just record it again later or something like that.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'm sure there are options out there. It's just, do we have the time? I mean, I got enough things to do that I'm not a video editor that can do that. So I am sure there are options. I don't use that option. I just kind of say, hey, I like it or I don't like it, and then I kick it out.
And can you, like, so I don't have this in a gym, but like when I'm looking to, like you said, just to take something or have, for the kids to have access to, would that easily then be shareable with other, so I wouldn't need to have the whiteboard or the.
Yeah. Well, one of the options would be, you could do it in like, I don't know, I'm just thinking like at Orchard Park, I know Pam, so a lot of times she has a Mediascape in her gym at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if, hey, before school or after school or during one of your plan times you wanted to come into my classroom and record a video real quick because there's a smart board or something there, or however you choose to do that, you could do it with a Ladybug like in your class or in your gym. But then you could create it and put it in a way to share with kids that you could then share it on your Mediascape somehow, or, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm going to get into. Like, once I show you how to make the videos, I'm going to show you, okay, now how do I get them to the kids and how do I use them? Yep. Great question. Anything else? All right, so I did what? Ladybug first, and then I did Smart Notebook. The other one is Screencastify. So Screencastify is actually a Google, like if you go to the Google store, it's just a Google extension that you add to your Google account. So like if you basically just do a search for Google Store, right? And for apps and devices, Oh, come on. Internet, please don't fail us now. I don't want the Google. I'm not thinking the Google Store. I'm thinking the Google Apps for. See, I'm off now.
We'll go over to
Is it?
apps. It might have.
Well, I have it already. I'm just thinking about, like, for you to get it, you have to go. Isn't there a
I think you can just.
Chrome? That's what I see. I'm thinking Google. It's Chrome Store. Thank you, Ann. Okay, Chrome Store. So if you do a search for Chrome Store, Chrome Web Store, and then you do, and this is apps and extensions that you can put in your Google account, and you just do a search for Screencastify. Too many E's. And here is an app, and it says for me to rate it, you would have to click on Add to Chrome, but it's just an extension that's added into your Google account. So every time that I log into my Google account, it's just an icon right here that I can use to record my desktop at any time, okay? But there's a little bit of the Chrome Store. Yep, why did I say Google Store? But if you go to the Chrome Store, you do a search for Screencastify, download that. It is open every single time. So I have like that, and I have the Survey Monkey and Boomerang and some other things that I use. But Screencastify, I used to use this a ton, and I had a subscription when I was at the board office because I was always in my office. I could sit there, create a video that's my desktop, and send that to staff or send that to principals or whomever. And now that I'm in the classroom more, I don't use it as much unless I'm doing some type of PD for the staff. But really, when you have that up and you launch that app, when you're in, using Chrome, you have the ability to, like, Casey was asking about you can use your webcam if you wanted to just talk. I don't do that very often. I just use the desktop option, and I say record. And then it says, all right, what do you want to share? Well, I want to share my desktop, so I highlight it, share it with others, and then it says, Screencastify recording is sharing your screen, and then it's going to start counting down. Usually it starts counting down and says 3, 2, 1. There it is. It's the Wi-Fi at the high school. So then once it dings, it is recording your voice now, and it is recording whatever you do on your desktop that you want to share with kids. Or the one that I was sharing with staff was this calendar one. So whatever I want to share with somebody, I just do it on my computer, and I talk to my computer, and then I say stop sharing. So it's share, stop sharing, and now I have this, and I can listen to it, okay? And like right now, but you notice the sound is different. So I don't like Screencastify in a classroom because of the echoey piece. When I was in my old office that was 4 by 4, and I'm in there by myself, it didn't sound that way. It was much better. So it depends on your atmosphere, your settings, what you like to do, and the sounds fluctuate depending on what you're working with. But once you kind of decide what you're going to go with and use the most, make sure those settings are perfect, and then you can always adjust the other one. So I always worry about my ladybug and if that works. So the nice thing about Screencastify, you can copy a link and just share it to somebody instantly. You can share it to your Google Classroom directly from here, okay? Or you can get embed codes, all this different stuff. But what I do is I do the same thing that I do with all my other stuff so that I can eventually put it all in the same place, is I just download it. And when I click download, please, there we go, I just go to my desktop again, and I save it, and then I have it. So as I go back here, it always pops over here, those are my 3 videos that I've made with the document camera, Smart Notebook, and Screencastify. So I have 3 videos. Now, sometimes I leave that video on my desktop, and I'll leave a little post-it note that says, play this for a sub. Like, this is the math video you want, depending on what it is. But from there, then it kind of depends on who you are and what you like to do. Some people use Google Classroom to share videos. I don't. I use a Google website. The reason I do that is I'm a math person. I show a lot of videos. I do believe when you are working in Kettering on Google and Clever, and you have all of these things running in the background with videos, it's too slow. So with my kids, when they log into their Chromebooks, are never allowed to log into their Google account in math class. They go directly in and log in as a guest, and they go to my website, which then jumps over the Clever, jumps over the Google filters, and the videos run faster. That's just me in my classroom. But I just find that when I use Google Classroom, or the kids are logged into their Google accounts and they go to all these math things that have videos that I have them using between Zern and my videos, it runs slower. So again, it's the settings of your classroom, and I just feel like the Wi-Fi in my room is really bad.
Something you would use for a demo to show, like, I said the thing, if it would fold up to show your face. Anything that you had that would show a demonstration.
What do you mean, like?
Demonstration, you know, like phys ed teacher.
Okay, that basically, it could be your phone. Yeah, or like like that, you know, and then that video you email to yourself, and then when you email it to yourself, download it, and you've got it on your computer, and now
Somebody else will have to report it.
somebody else would have to, you'd have to have a tripod or something like that.
That won't work for that?
It might. I don't know. Like, and the quality might be different, and I don't want to say yes or no because I've never used it for that means. Personally, I think I'd go out and buy like a little tripod thing, pop my phone on there, and you're probably going to get a better video than most of the things you're going to get at a government school that's funded by, I mean, like, that would be my suggestion, but I'm not an expert at that.
Just curious.
No, you're exactly right.
What about other options besides?
Yeah, like for instance, and it's funny because Beth's in here, but like I saw this morning on Twitter or something, Doug had recorded a video of him doing a science experiment that was clear as day, and I'm betting he probably just used a phone or something like that. Is that what it was? It's probably Beth behind the camera going, hey, but it was very clear, and it was neat. It was this morning that I saw it like for the first time. I don't know if he put it out yesterday or not, but it was neat. But all he would have to do from there is find a way to get it to his desktop, and then you have all the possibilities of sharing it out there. Yeah, hey, no problem. So I've shown you kind of the end, and I've shown you, all right, how do you get the videos? This is the part that is the most techie part. Okay, so those of you that feel comfortable with technology, you're like, all right, this is easy, I've got it, no problem. Those of you that aren't always comfortable with the tech, this is the trickiest part of taking videos and getting them to other people. So what I do, and let me see if I can find it, is I post them. I'm going to close some things so that it works a little bit more efficiently. I post them on my website. So all the kids, they know they log in as a guest. They do a search for Ayers student, and it ends up being the first search one that is my website. That's just my Kettering website that I use. And I have a page for all of my math videos. Everything's on there. So they know if they need something or something that they have told them I've recorded, they can find it on my website. Okay? And what I have on there is like I have basic computation skills. So I have a whole bunch of videos from over the years. You'll notice I don't put the picture and the actual little video on there because when you put them on there, I always make it a link that you can go to. Because if I had all of these videos on website, when they go to that, it would take forever to load. So I'll show you how to just make it a link instead of just uploading it as a video on its own page. But I put them all in the same place, so these are all my computation videos. They also know that, hey, recently we had a quiz, and I said, hey, you want to look at these topics before we take it, and those are the reviews that they did. And then even down here, I've embedded all the videos from Eureka. I teach math, so I've gone to their website and put links in here for them to be able to get to, you know, like right now we're working on Module 4. They can click on Module 4, and they can go to videos from Eureka to do things. So they all know that all my videos are somewhere on this page, depending on what we're working on, and I tell them what to look for. How do you get things there? All right. So here's my Kett-Tech as well, and I put those on there. In order to add something on, and I am a Google Site person, so I use Google Sites, and because I'm logged into my own account, I have this edit page option here. Please, just thinking. Which gives me the ability to edit what I'm doing, okay? But in order to get things on here, the easiest way to get them on there is through your Google Drive, okay? So what I do in my Google Drive is Screencastify actually will automatically throw videos into a Screencastify folder for you, okay? I also have a videos folder, or is it movies folder that I have highlighted here that I put all of my movies in there, okay? The reason I do this is I have currently, I currently have 3 videos here that I want in my drive so I can put them on my website, okay? I go to the movies folder first and open it. And here's the reason why. Everybody knows when somebody shares a document or sends you some type of link and you always click on it and say you do not have permission, right? Right now, nobody has any permission to view these, and I don't have them in my drive, but I have set up my drive movies as anybody in the world that has these links can watch them. So if I go there first and open it first, and then from there, I say upload, file upload, and I go to my desktop, and I pick one of those videos that I just made. So here's one. And I upload it into my movies. Now I know when I'm on my site and I grab that movie, nobody will have any problems getting permission to see it. So the big step was, I did it the first time, and I can't watch it. I went home last night. Like, all right. So then I learned, I created a movies folder, and I went into the share settings and said, anybody with these links can access them. So if you go in there and you upload something, it now has the permissions of the folder. So the permission to access it matches the folder because I uploaded it when it was in there. Now, this is another thing where usually after I take a video, as quickly as possible, I do this because it does take some time to upload them because of the length of them and the amount of space they take over. But gradually, it's going to take a little bit of time before you can access those when you're on your site, okay? So, just to kind of reiterate that, when I have them on my desktop, and I'm just going to go back to my drive again, and I want to get them into my drive so I can then share them, I always go to either, and I have the Screencastify one set up that way as well, but I always typically put them in my movies because I've actually started to organize my movies with like poetry, story time for Bella. I've got some folders in there. And I always open up the movies folder first and upload from there so that the settings have the permission to share with anybody that watches it. Okay? Any questions?
Are you able to just drag, or do you have to do an upload?
Hey, well, let's find out. Here we go. You ready? Let's take one and just drag it in here. There you go. It works.
Okay, good. I
Yep.
remember that.
Yeah. I thought it worked, but it had been a long time since I've tried that and done that. But no, that's a great question. So yes, because I'm a dragger too. When I drag them out and put them on my desktop, I prefer to just drag it over there. Yeah. So yes, it does work.
So when you made your movie folder shareable with anybody with the link, is that a special share?
Okay, so like here where it says, this is that share icon. So this is the share settings for my folder. And right now it says, I should have worn my glasses, anyone on the internet can find and view. And this is the link that I could use to share that folder. But if you go to advanced down here at the bottom, and this is true of Google Slides, Google Docs, whatever it is, when you go to that share settings, these are people I've specifically shared certain things with. And then, like Bern and I used to teach together, so I gave him access to put videos in there because I have a science tab too. But right here, public, on the web, anyone can do it. If I wanted to make that private, right when you go there the first time, it's going to say specific people only. But I always just say open it up to the public because I'm going to have parents that aren't using Google accounts that are school related. And then I do that. Because most of the things I put on there, it's kids' voices, but it's not their faces. So then I don't worry about, yeah. Yeah, great question, great question. I'm going to cancel that so that people can still get my stuff. All right, done. All right, so we've taken the video. That was the easy part, right? Now we've taken those videos that are on our desktop, we've put them into our Google Drive, and then basically what I do is when I'm on here and I'm editing, I basically just go to my drive, and then I find my movie folder, and I should have brought my readers. And then I find that video, and then it's as simple as just double clicking on it, and there it is. It's in there, and it takes some time to process, and this is some other video that I had, but it's in there. Now, remember earlier I was telling you, if you upload them all this way, all of them this way, and you have 100 on there, when the kids go to that site, it will take them 20 minutes to load all of that. So I typically do not do it this way. But there are times where I'm like, no, I have a designated page, this is the video I want to watch, and I do it that way. Okay, and then when they click on it, it goes to a new window and they can watch it. Most times what I do, and I'm actually going to, I guess I better open up a movie. Stop. Oh, here, I have to go here. And within that share, I will take this, the link to that video, and I'll say copy, and I'll copy that. And then what I'll do when I'm here is I will close this, and I will create a text box that says video that I want them to watch, whatever it is. And if you take that video text and you create a link to it, and then I paste in that link and apply it, now, see, it's an active link. So now it's not taking up space on this particular page to load. Now they can just go to that link, click on it, and it goes faster. So that's how I do it. I know there are people in here that are Google Classroom experts and use Google Classroom. I know sometimes I'll just take and copy the link and email it to parents and say, hey, this is what we're working on this week. They're having trouble with this. If you see it at home, here's some hints or tips. Sometimes with the kids, I will just take that link and email it to them and say, hey, Mr. Ayers is gone tomorrow, okay? When you have this math center, I want you to sit down and watch this and do this paper with me, and I'll email them directly. But it's all, like, the means of how you want to share it depends on your preferences of what you like to do. I like having everything in one place, so I have a website for the kids, and they know, on my website that they can get from anything from the calendar of what we're doing to math videos, math activities, Mr. Klein hints of science and social studies, what we do on Fridays. Like, they can find everything on my website, and I just put it out there for them, and then they have my website. Miss Matthias, who I teach with across the hall, she uses Google Classroom. So she's starting to make more videos and send things out, and she uses Google Classroom. It kind of depends on what you feel comfortable with and your expertise. Okay? Any questions? And I know that's the most techie part, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm going to walk through that again, the techie piece of it. I'm going to actually, let me just delete that. Click on that. Delete. Oh, come on. Oh, I deleted the link, but not the delete. All right. So what I do to get them visible, why won't this move? Is the first thing you have to do is go to your Google Drive. Well, see, now I've got everything messed up on myself. There we go. Go back. Done. So to get those videos into your Google Drive, you want to get into your Google Drive, create a folder that's movies, and then either drag it in or go to New and say File Upload. And that's where on File Upload, you can go to your desktop and find those movies and move them into your movies folder. So that's step one. The movie you created, put it into your folder. Step two would be when you find a means of sharing it, you would have to be able to access it from your Google Drive. And then take that and place it in or create a link for it. Okay?
How do you share your Google site with your kids?
My kids, the first day of school, I email it to them and then I make them make a bookmark.
Okay.
So like I just take, whatever, I don't even remember what it
Do you
is.
share that with parents too?
I email it to parents, yeah, and then like at open house,
Okay.
I tell them a couple things about math, and I'm like, hey, and you're going to want this site because at some point this year you're going to say, this isn't how I did it, and you and the kids are going to argue, so you can say, hey, go watch this video, or you can watch it yourself. Yeah, yeah. But I'm a Google site person more than anything, and I think because it's younger kids, and I still can get the parents easier than I can with Google Classroom.
Okay.
Yeah. Questions? I know I'm early. There's 5 minutes left, but I know it's a lot, okay? And I'm Andy Ayers, so you can always email me and just be like, hey, how in the world or whatever, or I guess this is going to be available, so we could always use that since I'm a YouTube star now. Yeah, whatever. I'm glad I'm not, because that would have meant something went really, really bad. So,
So, like movies that we did with our phones, and
Mm-hmm.
you said email them to ourselves, and then it's basically the same way
yeah.
to put them on there.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think, I don't know if we can see my,
We don't need to actually go through YouTube then.
no. So I'm thinking here, let me put my ladybug up. I'm just thinking this isn't a video, but this is just like a picture. Maybe, if it zooms and focus. I would think it's just as simple as that upload feature and then just emailing it to yourself, depending on the size of it. And I'm not an expert at that type of things, but then you would just put in your email address and it would go to you. Yes?
If you upload Google Drive on your phone, you can
Yeah.
also just straight
You're right.
put it onto your phone.
See? Always experts around. Yeah, thank you.
That doesn't, it
Yeah.
will take a while.
Yes, yeah.
It will take a while, and you'll have to check on it, but it will upload.
You could do it straight to your movie folder there. From there,
Yeah.
right into it.
Yeah.
See? I told you, I don't know everything. I just see that helped me. And that's why I'm not here as an expert. I'm just here hey, this is what I do.
Right.
And if it helps you, it helps you. And if you find a better way that it works,
Right.
awesome. And then let me know. I'm just trying to share.
I also do classroom from my phone too sometimes. So if I can't get to my laptop and I need a sub or something like that, I can just upload and make the link on Classroom and have the drive ready. You can just have it all connected. I have a little Google
Yeah.
section of my phone.
I'm not that techie. No, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. That's great.
You said phys ed teacher at Orchard Park has a smart board and does video?
No, she has a Mediascape, just a big TV that's on wheels. So she has one of those, because we have 6 or 7 per building, and this year at Orchard Park, we have no empty classrooms. We don't even know where to store them. So rather than having them in a computer lab or in a central location where people are pulling from them, we've put them in designated rooms, and she was like, I would use one every single day. So we store one in her room, but she uses every day with a laptop or a Chromebook that's attached to it. So she has videos running through it, or sometimes it's Google Slides that are rotating through what her centers or activities that she wants the kids to do. Yeah, so she does use one in her room. But I don't know if she does video.
Desktop screen.
Yeah, it's a TV on wheels that has an HDMI cord. You pop it into your little Chromebook, and then she has created Google Slides that she has automatically run that changes the screen so they can watch, and if they're doing some type of center or cycle of activities, they can look at and see what they're supposed to do, and then they go do it.
She didn't use a video camera to do that. So,
No, because she doesn't. I don't think she uses video. Hers is more like a smart board without video that just has things that she shares on it that she's created in Smart Notebook or Google Slide or something like that. It's more of a presentation means, But then within Google Presentation, you can make it into a slideshow that's live. So then she makes it live, and then it's playing through like it's like a PowerPoint.
I might have to contact her.
Yeah, because she uses Pam Watson. Yeah,
I do it too. It's fairly easy to do it
yeah.
with Google Slides, like I saw, yeah. And then you can actually link videos to it.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
way
So I don't think, like I was saying, I don't think she's creating the videos. She's going out and finding YouTube videos or videos that she's popping in there.
Do that